Peace.
Peace.
Introduce yourself, God.
I'm the God, Mallah Divine Mallah. My supreme righteous name is Manifest Allah Divine Master Allah. My legal name is Mallah Divine Mallah. That's what I commonly go by.
When you say legal, like mean that that's how you went through the legal system and all that and dealt with that?
Yes.
Okay, that's peace. I mean, how'd you go about that?
I was just, inside. I was inside, and inside a prison, and they provided the opportunity.
They provided the opportunity in there to do that.
Yeah, for the court systems, depending on what county you at, the court systems allow you to file, and like some court systems might charge you X amount of money, some charge you a little bit of money. The county that I was in, they didn't charge us no money because we was incarcerated. So I just took advantage of it.
That's interesting. I mean, what was the process? I mean, how did you?
Wasn't no you just go to the law library, get the forms, fill them out, and mail them in.
Oh, so you was just you was in the law library and that you came across that and you just decided, all right, this is what I'm gonna do.
Yeah. So those of us that was on that particular compound, we just all filed, and it was that simple.
I mean, were you amongst a bunch of 5%ers or Muslims or?
Nah, it was guards. It wasn't as much guards when I first came into prison was '95. It was probably a lot of say if a compound held 1,200 people, it might have been 200 guards. Now, was they all right and exact? No, they wasn't. And by the time I changed my name, it was legally it was around, I want to say, from 2001 to 2002, the population of 5%ers went down, but the people that was 5%ers was still in prison.
Okay, well, I said, we'll get into that science though. I want to go a little bit through your history.
All right.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Build about your origins, like where you from and how you came up.
I'm from Medina. I'm from the Bushwick area. I'm from the era when Bushwick looked like the South Bronx. Meaning there was a lot of abandoned buildings, a lot of lots, a lot of heroin being sold. So it was a certain level of violence out there. So that's, like I said, I moved to Bushwick in '77. So I was out there since '77, and that's my origins. I saw a lot of things as a youth that no youth should have saw, but that was probably the whole New York under Koch. Koch was the man at the time. New York City was economically depressed, and this was so when I really came of age, even though they was always selling heroin and stuff like that, and crack hit. So I remember when crack hit. Yeah, like 85. So I was 10 years old. So I'm I'm off the porch. I'm out and about, and you seen a drastic change. Like you might have seen people, mothers that you knew, got caught on the crack, and you just start seeing the whole sway of just the neighborhood change. You know what I mean? And so you got crack and you got heroin. So you got people always ODing because it was probably a practice at the time. You let a package go out. They call it a smoker. They let a package go out, but it be so raw that one or two people going to OD off the package, and then all the people that do heroin, they're going to run towards that package. They call that the smoker. So you'll see sometimes in the park behind a handball court might be somebody OD, things like that. So as a youth, seeing stuff like that desensitize you. You think that's normal, become normalized. So, and then I'm like every other youth. I went to school. I never had a problem going to school. I actually kind of found school easy. So I went to school. I went to arguably one of the best middle schools because it was in my neighborhood called Philip Escala, School for the Gifted and Talented. It was about 6 blocks down from me, and you had to take a test to get into that. So like I said, that was school wasn't nothing. And then as I progressed, I went to high school, doing whatever I was doing in the streets, but I didn't really, now people say, oh, I was in the streets, but we didn't really identify being in the streets. We just come outside. This was normal activity. I come outside, I know who I know, you see what you see, and you respond to situations, and you develop a certain way of thinking way of doing things based off of you outside. So it wasn't like it was being promoted. Like now it's like, especially since hip hop been commercialized probably the last maybe 15 years, like, you know, being a street nigga or all these a bad bitch or whatever terminology they use, it's been so commercialized that everybody like, oh, I'm out here in these streets, and it wasn't like that before. You know, it wasn't like if you did things that, like, if you wasn't into selling drugs, if you wasn't into sticking up, if you wasn't into whatever, busting your gun, ain't nobody look down upon you. That's not what you was doing.
Right. That became, like you said, hip hop basically glorified that.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, during that time period, did you encounter like any 5%ers? Did you see any?
My uncle was 5%er.
Okay.
So like, of course, my uncle was 5%er, you know, and that's my father's youngest brother. So, you know, he had a certain style, standard of moving and stuff, and then you know, but he still was in the streets because he wound up getting somebody set him up. I'm gonna keep some of that to myself.
Right.
And he wound up taking like 9 from a Uzi, and wound up being paralyzed for a few years, and then he wound up passing away like 2 years after that. Yeah, but I knew a few guards, but I can't say that they was right and exact. I know Kasim. Like, he's the school up middle school, he's right across the street. I know Big Kasim.
Right.
So that's why when you see him, you always try to pick me up and hug me because he's like about 8 feet. You know what I mean?
Right.
So yeah, but as far as like on my end, the presence was like the people that had the most weight was the cats that had the drugs and the dudes that had the hammers. That's just for fact.
INFMEGA did this.